You guys already know I get really nervous ordering at a restaurant, so every time I go out for Indian food, I just order butter chicken, cause it's the only dish I can confidently pronounce both words correctly. After making it last time and loving it, we decided to explore Indian cuisine further. So today we're gonna follow along the most viewed chicken biryani recipe in the history of internet, because more views means better quality. Let's get started.
One of my most popular videos I've ever made was on a chicken biryani dish with over 140 million views.
But the thumbnail said 203.
Today I thought we'd take a deep dive into one of my more favorite dishes, the Hyderabadi biryani.
Today we're gonna make one of Andy's favorite dishes, the Hyderabadi biryani.
We're gonna need a lot of really thinly sliced onions.
We're gonna get some thinly sliced onions from these onions.
You can do it with a knife, the traditional way, or you can do it with a mandolin. Keeps it more consistent. Just be careful because these things take fingers off.
I can't risk taking my fingers off because it's the only thing I have that works in the bedroom. So after taking off the top and the bottom, we'll split it in half and peel it. And take off this root piece right here before slicing. Use your hand to guide the knife following the grain of the onion. And I just demonstrated to you the only thing I know how to do in the kitchen.
Still gets the best of us.
I learned from TikTok that turning on the exhaust fan reduces the crying, but doesn't stop you from cutting yourself.
Time to fry the onions. Medium, sort of low heat.
Put oil on medium to low heat.
2 centimeters deep there. Let that come up to temperature.
About 2 centimeters deep in a saute pan, letting it come to temperature.
So once your oil's at sort of a medium low temperature, you don't want it kind of raging hot.
I feel like the temperature's at medium low. Let's drop in a piece to see the reaction. Alright, never mind.
You probably want to do 2 or 3 batches, otherwise you overcrowd the pan.
I decided to stop trusting my instincts. In my experience is always a good choice. And use the thermometer until it hits 350.
Now just keep them moving. Don't walk away from this or you'll have brown onions.
Alright, time to drop it in. We'll keep it moving with a pair of chopsticks. Honestly, I've never seen anything fried like this before. Once the bubbles settled down, I realized it dropped 100 degrees in temperature. I didn't even lower the heat.
It's lost a lot of volume from the onions, and this is where you need to pay really close attention because things start to happen pretty quickly here.
I've been frying them on maximum heat and nothing's happening, so I switched to a stronger burner, and still nothing's happening.
Take them out just before you think they're good enough.
We'll throw them out if they're not good enough. That's what my parents said.
Alright, time to rinse and repeat with the rest of our onions.
Rinse and repeat with all the onions till they're all evenly golden like this.
Okay, to marinate the chicken. We're going to marinate it in the dish that we're going to cook the biryani in because I like to save dishes.
I like to save dishes too. He's using a Dutch oven. If you watched my last video, you're probably wondering how my Dutch oven's doing. Yeah, so not really well. The funny thing is, this is a gift from my sponsor, Goldilocks. So let me make it clear, it's not the product's fault, it's mine.
1 kilo of chicken thighs, skin off.
2.5 pounds of this juicy radioactive chicken thigh. I don't understand how this bag is frozen and the other bag is completely thawed.
To start, yogurt.
To start, yogurt.
Then, chili powder. This is Kashmiri chili powder.
Then, chili powder. This is Korean gochugaru.
Turmeric.
Turmeric.
Garam masala.
Couple grams of masala.
Ginger paste. A little bit of garlic.
Then we'll put in some ginger and garlic paste that I completely chopped by hand. Don't question me on the container choice.
Juice of a lemon.
Juice of a lemon.
Green chili.
Green chili.
Cinnamon stick.
I was gonna skip all the spices, then I remember I have this spice mix from the pho video. And I'm gonna assume these are cinnamon, even though they look like the outside layer of a tree.
Some green cardamom pods.
Some brown cardamom pods.
And we're just gonna lightly crush them.
We're gonna lightly crush it.
Cumin seeds.
I don't see no cumin seeds. Let's do 2 more cardamom pods.
4 cloves.
5 cloves of cloves.
Salt.
Salt.
So I've got some mint, just roughly chopped.
Some mint, roughly chopped.
And of course, coriander.
And of course, cilantro.
And last but definitely not least, about a third or just more than a third of our onions that we just fried up.
Last and definitely least, about a third of the onions we just burnt.
Give that a good mix around.
Now we'll give it a quick mix around. Feels kinda illegal to crumble up fried up onions into raw chicken. Is it green from the herbs or is my chicken green?
Make sure all the chicken is completely covered.
Making sure all the chicken's completely covered. Do you like this sound?
You can marinate this for 24 hours in the fridge. You can marinate it for an hour.
Why is mine so yellow?
But I suggest that you do it for at least 4 hours, if not 24 hours.
Like he said, I'm gonna do it for 3 hours.
Clean down your sides so that marinade's all in there.
Clean down my sides so it marinates all in there.
Chuck the lid on.
Check the lid on.
Pop it in the fridge for 4 hours.
Pop in the fridge for 4 hours.
Our chicken has been in the fridge for 3 hours. It's time to start getting our rice.
When chicken's been in the fridge for 2 hours, time to start the rice.
You want an aged basmati rice. Very important.
I don't have any aged basmati, but this one's been in my cabinet for like a year, so I guess it's aged enough.
Nice long grain, and that's how we get those really nice singular grains at the end dish.
You see what he's doing here with his hands? Best feeling in the world, hands down. No pun intended.
Up, we need to wash it into a large bowl and over to the sink.
So we'll measure out 2 pounds of rice, which is a whole bag, and move on to the sink.
Cold water. And we're gonna rinse it 2 times.
My sink is at a constant state of being dirty, so let me clean this up real quick. And then cold water into the rice, we'll rinse it 2 times.
So the third amount of water, we're gonna leave it in there and we're gonna let it soak for 35 to 40 minutes.
And the third time, we're gonna fill up a third and leave it for 30 minutes.
So I've got some warm milk here and we're pretty simply gonna steep some saffron in it.
I actually went out and got saffron. Are you guys surprised? So we'll put a little bit in this ramekin and then steep it with some warm milk.
To make a little dough, long piece of dough to go around the outside.
Why do we need a long piece of dough on the outside?
I think if you're having friends over, doing this kind of looks pretty cool. Putting it to the table, pull the dough off, serve it up.
That does sound pretty cool, but I don't think any amount of dough can change my friend's low opinion of me.
Jeez, okay.
Water in the middle and bring it together. So you want a pretty workable dough. You don't want too dry or too wet.
He didn't give any instructions on the dough, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. Since we're trying to get it to stick to the top of the pot and I'm using a non-stick one, we probably want to make it a little bit more wet than usual.
All right, we get it to a shaggy mess like this and we can start kneading it with our hands.
Once it becomes a shaggy mess like me, we'll knead it with our hands.
This is kind of a common technique used in a few different cultures. If you want to seal a pot properly.
I did some research. Apparently this method was invented for pots that don't have a proper lid to seal them, but it's not really a problem anymore in this day and age.
So we'll roll this out into a long batten basically, and then we can let it rest.
We'll let it rest in its ball shape and roll it out later.
Large pot with a lid of boiling water, a little bit of salt.
Large pot of lukewarm water. We'll put in a little bit of salt.
And then we're going to flavor it. Some green cardamom.
Some brown cardamom.
A green chili in half.
Some green chili in pieces.
Cinnamon stick.
Some cumin powder.
2 cloves.
Some cumin powder.
Some cumin seeds.
Some cumin powder.
So when you're doing stuff like this, it's all about layering flavors. So any time we can add flavor to the equation, we will.
Look at all these layers of flavors.
Give it one little stir.
Giving it one little stir.
And then get the lid on. Basically, we're looking for this to come up to the simmer again.
We'll put the lid on and wait for it to come to a simmer.
Once it's come up to the simmer, we can probably check it because it's probably ready. Don't be afraid to take a grain out.
Once it comes to a simmer, I'm a little bit afraid to take a grain out.
Where your courage?
But I think we should simmer it for a few more minutes. Also, I need to use the restroom.
All right, we're good. We're coming out.
I just tasted it again. It's definitely overcooked, so we gotta take it out ASAP.
Chicken from the fridge onto the heat. High temperature.
Chicken from the fridge onto the heat. High temperature. Once you can hear it kind of bubbling, we'll open the lid and stir it around.
Whew. That smells incredible.
Ooh. That does smell pretty incredible.
So while our chicken is doing its thing over there, we'll get our little dough ready for the outside.
Now we'll get this dough ready for the outside.
So this dough is pretty wet.
It is pretty wet.
Oh, very wet.
Oh, very wet.
And we're just trying to roll a big log that will be long enough. You can actually just stretch it.
Now we're gonna roll this into a big log, and I'm just gonna stretch it. And do some skipping with it.
It'll be long enough to go around the whole of the pot.
Have to be long enough to go into the hole of the pot.
I reckon that's enough. So that's good to go.
That's long enough and good to go.
And we're not here to cook the chicken. We're just here to kind of get it going, I guess.
I'm here to cook the chicken, so I'm gonna let it go on for a few more minutes.
And I'm gonna pull out half of the chicken. So there's 6 big pieces in here. I'm gonna pull out 3.
Now I'm gonna pull out half the meat. What do you guys think of my pull-out game?
A little bit of the gravy. Not too much though.
Little bit of gravy.
Sorry, it's a bit chefy of me, but I'm just gonna clean up this pot.
Is cleaning the pot necessary?
We used to get told off if we didn't back when I was working for people in Europe.
In Europe? I didn't know that Europeans cared about chicken biryani so much.
All right, now we've got a clean pot. We can continue on. So sprinkle our rice.
A layer of rice.
Make sure it's nice and even.
Making it nice and even.
Now add the chicken back in.
Now the chicken back in.
Make sure you put all the sauce in there.
Put all the sauce in there. Seems a little watery.
Some of our onions. This is like the best bit, the onions.
Sprinkling some of our fried onions.
Coriander, mint.
A variety of invasive plant species.
And a last layer of rice. Make sure it's nice and even.
And last layer of rice. Make it nice and even.
Onions.
Onions. I'm starting to feel really good about myself. I feel like I'm decorating a cake.
More herbs.
More herbs.
And our saffron milk.
And our saffron milk. I wonder if we can even taste it with all these spices added.
Lid on. And we'll seal it with our dough.
Since we're using a non-stick pan, I feel like it's definitely gonna fall off. So we'll put the dough right on top in between the pot and the lid.
Straight to maximum heat for 10 minutes. Then we're gonna turn it down to here on this induction for another 30 minutes.
Alright, that's too many steps. I'm just gonna put it in a 350-degree oven for 40 minutes.
Time to crack her open. It's always a bit nerve-wracking breaking one of these open. I'm not used to not being able to see what I do as I'm cooking.
After 40 minutes, the dough got really hard. It's probably gonna be a little difficult to open.
Yeah! Hoo.
I'm so proud of myself.
What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that like Stockton.
Let's peel this dough off and inspect the inside.
What we're looking for is nice individual grains of rice.
This looks like nice individual grains of rice.
And look at that. That is what we're after. Nice individual grains of rice.
When we get to the bottom, however, it all became kind of a mush.
Just gonna finish with a little bit more coriander and mint.
Finally, just some cilantro because I ran out of mint.
Hide your body, biryani. Guess we better eat some.
You guys better hide your baddies because we're about to eat some biryani. The smell from all the spices, herbs, and fried onion all baked together is pretty incredible. And I'm glad that the radioactive chicken thigh is fully cooked. The second Indian dish I've ever made on this channel. I really hope it goes well. So let's give it a taste and rate it 1 through 10. Just only 2 minor issues. First one being not salty enough. I think we only seasoned it once in the marinating process. And the second issue is that the rice is overcooked and all mushy. I mean, both of those are my fault, so technically the recipe should be perfect. There's a lot of deep, complex, spicy flavors, complemented by the light and refreshing herbaceous notes. The chicken's very juicy and the fried onion gives it that caramelized sweet flavor. This is the best chicken biryani I've ever had in my life because it is my first time having it. So in my opinion, with nothing else to compare to, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I want to go to an Indian restaurant and see what a real chicken biryani tastes like. So if you know any good places in New York City, let me know. And I'll be looking for a new Dutch oven. That's all the announcements. Alright, thank you.